Hey guys, it's Sam with To The Press, and today I'm going to show you how to edit an article in Google Docs. Some people operate as a club, and when deadlines are approaching and your writers haven't written anything, Google Docs, it's my savior. I'm just going to admit that right now. I love this thing. It saves me so much time. So today we're just going to work on this basic article that was published in the last issue. It's a very basic article on an event at my school that happened. It was published in the last issue back in the beginning of November. So I'm just going to show you the basics of how to edit an article and also how to do it in Google Docs. So when you can share an article, it's very easy. Right now it's only private to me. I'm the only one that has access because I removed everybody else. Because every time you comment and edit, it's emailed to the person that you shared it with. So say I wanted to add my writer back on, whose name was removed for obvious reasons. I can just type in her email address here. There it is. Click on that. And then I'll change her settings if I want. Say I only want her to comment and not make any changes. I can view. But you always want them to edit. Now you share and save. I'm not going to do that. And choose from the options over here. I'm not going to do that because then she'll be very confused and we are done because this article again was already published. So let's get started. Here is this pretty basic lead. It's not stellar, but the lead is the first sentence of any news article, any article really in journalism. It sets up what you're going to talk about. And it also has to grab the reader's attention. It's a very powerful statement. But right now, it's not bad. This is her first article in the paper. It's not bad. It's really not. It's not amazing either. It says, among the diverse clubs at Northwest Fest, FCCLA seem to be one of the most popular clubs because of their jewelry and hair accessories. Okay, well, that's not really grabbing my attention per se. There are a bunch of articles in the paper. And if I want a reader to read my article, I'm going to make sure that my lead stands out and is factual all at the same time. So I'm going to insert a comment, go to insert comment, which is basically just like writing a note on the paper. And I'm just going to say, it's not grabbing my attention. Rewrite. And then I'll hit comment. Okay. And another problem that I found with this lead is that it's very editorialized. Diverse, that's even pushing the envelope. In journalism, you want to seem very objective while telling the truth. You don't really want to add your own little personal voice and your own opinion. So seem to be one of the most popular clubs because of their jewelry and hair accessories. I'm going to bold that so you guys can see it better. Seem to be one of the most popular clubs. I'm not digging that. So I'm going to put another comment. I'm going to say it's editorializing. How do you know it was one of the most popular clubs? A way of fixing that is to interview somebody who felt that way. You don't want to go to your friends and be like, hey, say this real quick so I can quote you in the paper. You want to be in the paper? Yeah, just say this. No, that's not journalism. That's not how it goes. Seem to be one of the most popular clubs. I mean, people will once you get a following, people will read your stuff and they'll be like, wasn't this person quoted in her last article? Yeah, okay, alright, they're not doing real reporting. And in this clause, statement, whatever, it's also inserting her own opinion. So it's like she was there, so she was like, well, this seemed like one of the most popular clubs, so I'll just write that. No, that's not how it goes. So, moving on. FCCLA is a national nonprofit organization, similar to Future Business Leaders of America. Well, did you read that somewhere? I don't think you... What? Is that your own personal voice again? So I'm just gonna enter another comment saying, how do you know that? Because I'm very curious as to how she knows that. Did you ever go to a meeting? I mean, I don't want you to be like, oh yeah, I saw that at a meeting, but if you read it somewhere, it's okay to put that in there. Just say, according to blah, blah, blah. And there you go. Okay. Now, okay, this is a big problem. Partial quotes. Now let me tell you something. Why is the rest of this quote not there? What was wrong with that? I highly doubt that this Manolo kid said something very degrading about clothes. And if he did, then you quote him and you put him in the story, because obviously he knew he was being interviewed by a reporter. He knew that somebody was going to be quoting him. So why is it that hip, trendy, and cute are the only things quoted? Did he not say that the club sold this? I mean, where's the rest of my quote? If I had a full quote, it would change the story. It would add another voice to it, so it's not just you reporting on something. But right now, as it stands, this whole segment by itself isn't doing anything for my story. She could have easily just left it as the club sold merchandise. Ta-da! And it doesn't change the meaning. This hip, trendy, and cute thing, it's not changing the meaning of my story. So that's not bad. That's not bad. Preparing costume Northwest shows. Oh, hello. Let me tell you something. Do not state the obvious. So, in this, she's clearly stating the obvious. This is a Northwest School of the Arts event. You, of course, the apparel department at that school will be funding for Northwest shows. So don't state the obvious. Comment. Okay, don't state the obvious. So she can easily just cut that out. And if this weren't for the video where I'm showing you how to insert comments and all that stuff, I would just simply delete it. Ta-da! But we don't want to do that. Because it's not like they're raising money for a community theater. They're not raising money for any organization that is trying to put on shows for people. That's not the case. It's just for Northwest. So she can just leave it as goes into helping the apparel department prepare and costume shows. You don't need that Northwest in there. It's stating the obvious again. Okay. We're about to get a big lesson in news judgment. Okay. So this says, Castillo said the earrings were a huge success, but with the popularity of their booth, there was a possibility of theft amidst the crowd. And it goes on to say that popular feather earrings might have been stolen because of how big the crowd was. Well, why is the story not about that? So many more readers would, pick up the paper if there was a story in there about a club being robbed, basically, at a Northwest event. So, news judgment. This is pretty important. This should go at the beginning of your story. So, comment. Her credit, I did tell her to go and research this, report on this some more, find out what happened, but the club decided they couldn't, investigate this any further, so there wasn't much to be said. So, moving on. FCCLA is becoming sparse at Northwest and is in need of new members, Castillo said. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier in the lead, how you could fix that is by easily going to somebody and being like, do you feel that way? Da da da. What do you think the most popular clubs were at Northwest Fest? And if they say FCCLA, then you can easily say so and so said. But there's another thing wrong with this sentence. Well, not another thing. There's something wrong with this sentence. It's a very bad transition. This sentence is basically moving me into the part of the story where they're trying to recruit new members. But my writer just told me that they were basically robbed. And so why would I want to join a club that is suffering from thievery and all of that stuff? So I'm going to insert a comment and basically tell her I need a better transition. I don't want to join the club after hearing that it was robbed. So, comment. And she's going to receive email updates for all of these edits. Well, if she was shared on the document. And it will tell her the time that I'm doing this and everything. So, to join, students must talk to CTE teacher Barbara Wesselman. Every time you talk to somebody the first time, you say their first and last name, Barbara Wesselman, and their title. So she's a CTE teacher, and she's their faculty advisor. And then from then on, you'll just say, like in Manolo's case, you'll just say Castillo said. That's a pretty basic journalism rule. To join, students must talk to so-and-so. Many events are planned, such as a trip to New York City in March, and all this fun stuff. Okay, so this is one of the last things. Manolo says. You never say says. He's not still saying what he's saying there. He doesn't go around and they're not like, hey Manolo, what do you want to eat for lunch? FCCLA has the potential to have a great impact in the community. He's not saying that all the time. He's not still saying it. He probably says different things, so on and on. So we have to write said. Never stated, never explained, said. Be sure to catch this in all of your writer's articles, and even in your own article. So said. This is the past tense. Use it. This club isn't a joke. That's a really powerful quote to end with. Try to avoid cliche things like FCCLA will really need your help. They need all these people and support. No, don't say stuff like that. That's just so editorialized, it's ridiculous. So end on a nice powerful quote, and then there's this nice little sidebar that we stuck in the layout, I believe, and that was basically a comment. So that's basically how you edit an article in Google Docs, and basically edit an article even if you're still writing on a piece of paper. Try to avoid the obvious, like Northwest shows. Try to get attention-grabbing leads. That way people will read your story. And accredit things like this and use your news judgment. I would have wanted to know about that first. It could have been used in the lead to grab my attention. And always say said and attribute everything. So that's basically how you edit an article in Google Docs. Thank you for watching.